Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. I want to give double honors to my apostles at Great Millstone who taught me his truth, and a sincere shalom to the elect out there teaching his truth in all honesty and sincerity in these last days. Alright, I'm Brother Yasharan, and this is a World War III update, and this is why us brothers in this truth, we should be watching these prophecies, man. Okay? Because Yahweh Shai said, occupy till I come. Okay? And he told us to watch out for the signs. The signs that are given in Luke 21, Matthew 24, Ezekiel 38, the entire book of Revelation. Okay? Isaiah 13, Jeremiah 50, 51, so on and so forth. Okay? Because the Most High is bringing down this kingdom, and these devils are trying to lock down their new world order, man. I want to start off with this scripture. This is Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies. Okay? Now think about the wisdom of all the ancient. You know, the other day was the Day of Atonement. Okay? That's wisdom of the ancient right there, man. You know, that's wisdom of the ancient. Because, well, a lot of these Americans, or Babylonians I should say, or modern day Romans, are busy engorging themselves, okay? And watching the games and the bread and circuses, and caring about stupid shit on social media that doesn't even matter. Okay? Here it is, World War III is about to be at your doorstep. Okay? They don't realize how weak America is really getting. Okay? I was just at the grocery store earlier today, and there was an old man who was next to me, and me and him had a short conversation. He basically said he couldn't believe the prices. And I was in shock too. I was like, man, I was just here last week, and it seems like everything went up 20 cents, 25 cents, 29 cents, 10 cents here and there. Some of the products that I usually buy at the grocery store, they've gone up almost a whole 70 cents to $1 over the past year. Okay, that's because the dollar is weakening, and there's shortages, man. And with these mandates, these jab mandates, it's only going to get worse. And it's coming out that these jab mandates, okay, are affecting the military, because there's a lot of soldiers that are so-called going on strike or walking out or flat out refusing to take it. Okay? So we're seeking out the wisdom of the ancient when we go into a strong spiritual fast, man, because the time is coming when pretty much everybody's going to have to do some kind of fasting. You know, you fat Americans are used to eating 3 gigantic meals a fucking day. Okay, you know, the time is going to come where it's going to be 2 meals a day, and then 1 meal a day, and then a half meal a day, and then 0. It might be 0 at one point, man. In fact, it will be 0 at one point. You know? We'll seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. And one of the main prophecies that we're occupied in right now is the weakening is Babylon the Great starting to fall, and World War III starting to rear its head, man. You know, you had the U.S. and the U.K. and Australia make that big deal the other day. There's rumors going around that they did that behind the intelligence community's back. All right? Now, I want to get into a couple things, okay? I'm not going to read these articles I'm just going to read the headlines because it's all that you need to know. All right, that's all that you need to know. From Business Insider, legit source, right? The U.S. Coast Guard cutters shadowed Chinese warships sailing near remote U.S. territory in Alaska, and we're seeing China start to grow a pair of balls when it comes to America. They said earlier this year that they view America as weak, especially with this new administration in place. And it is weak. I mean, the prices of everything's going up. There's shortages all over the place. Okay? There's no more unity in so-called America. Okay, in Rome. It's stretched too thin. You know, the people are asleep. Okay, the people are asleep. But the scriptures say in Romans 13:11 that now is the time to wake out of sleep. For our salvation is nearer than when we believed. Okay, now is the time to awake out of sleep. Because the Most High is closing these gates of mercy, man. It says right here, China enters Taiwan, and Reuters, this was today. Okay? And this is an effect of the military. Okay, the military having a big standoff about this jab. China is going to start testing the United States. Okay? China enters Taiwan air defense zone a day after military budget boost. Okay, and it doesn't matter about the military budget boost because they're going to strike America when it's weak, man. And it's looking really weak right now. The military is in disarray. You had one soldier come out and say that it was compromised and that a lot of the top pilots in the Air Force were quitting, walking off the job. Okay? And we know that a large part of America's military success has been because of its air superiority. Okay? And a large part of America's success is keeping the dollar as the cheap reserve currency is the might of the U.S. military. That's pretty much the only thing that's been keeping it afloat at this point. All right? So, the Lord, okay, is weakening this place, man. And if you remember, if you go back to, in fact, you know what? I'll get the scripture. Because this really is Rome all over again, man. This is Zephaniah 2:15. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go to Daniel 7. I believe it's the 7th verse. Daniel 7:7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, okay, which was what? The Roman Empire. Dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, just like America does. Okay? And stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Okay? So, America takes after Rome, okay, in the sense that it has this great military. Okay, they could smash anyone that it wants. But because America is the reincarnation of this fourth beast, okay, it also has a lot of the same weaknesses of the Roman military. It's stretched out too thin. Okay, and there's not that unity that the Roman Empire had, because a lot of the Roman Empire's soldiers were mercenaries, and it got stretched too thin. Okay, and there was a lot of the same problems that plagued Rome and made it vulnerable. America is also vulnerable too. Okay, like for instance, you had a lot of slave revolts and a lot of riots and a lot of bread and circuses and a lot of nonsense going on in Rome, and just like in modern day America, you have a lot of that nonsense going on. Okay, and when the enemy sees that, they're not afraid to strike. Just like uh, uh, the nations weren't afraid to strike against Rome. Okay, because America is dwelling carelessly right now. So Zephaniah 2:15. This is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly, that said in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me. Okay? So as long as you got the same bullshit going on, the people don't care. Okay? The people don't care. As long as they could have their Facebook and their McDonald's and their Google and their Instagram and all that nonsense, they don't give a shit. Okay? And their sporting events. You know, the scriptures talk about as it was in the days of Noah. These Americans are stuck in that days of Noah spirit, man. And here it is. The enemies are about to strike it. Isn't it saying Jeremiah that their enemies gather in an array around Babylon? You know, but back to Rome. You know, the Roman people also had this mindset. Okay, they had weak leadership. Their currency was losing value. Their military was stretched too thin, and they were vulnerable. And we're seeing America copy those same traits, which are going to lead to its downfall. But America's downfall is not going to be like Rome, where it goes in decline over hundreds of years. America's downfall is going to be very swift and harsh. Okay? Just think about this, man. It only took a year and a half with this pandemic for America to be brought to its knees. Man, it's like I had to pause right there and think about that statement. It only took a year and a half for America to get brought down to its knees. That's it. And it's continuing that downward spiral very, very fast, man. Okay? China is not playing around. Russia is not playing around. Even though America is playing around. Let me just get this scripture about how the third woe cometh quickly, man. And then we'll wrap it up. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Okay? Now, what does that mean by cometh quickly? It means that it's going to come swift. Before you know it, World War III is going to be right here. And it's going to be right at your doorstep, man. It's going to be right at your doorstep, man. You know? There was a man that came out and said that, well, hey, I mentioned this earlier, that the American Air Force is, a lot of the top pilots, okay, a lot of these top pilots are quitting. Think about how serious that is, man. I mean, it's America's air superiority right there. That's why they're getting ballsy. Okay? And testing Taiwan. They wouldn't be doing that if those pilots weren't walking off the job. They wouldn't be doing that. Okay? But, you know, does that mean that they're going to strike America at any minute? that remains to be seen. It could happen. But more than likely, they're going to keep I mean, why would you attack the enemy when they're still falling apart? That's I'm just looking at it from. I mean, I'm not a war general, but I'm just looking at it from that standpoint. If my enemy keeps going into decline and keeps going into decline, and is in disarray, why wouldn't I wait just a little longer to attack it? Because this place is falling apart from within. If China just has a little more patience, this place will keep falling apart and falling apart, and they really won't have to do much to take it over, or to bring it down. Okay, but with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Till next time, Shalom. Peace and blessings to the elect.